Trimble, one of the reasons why we have established India as one of our primary engineering hubs, we have over 2,000 employees in the country, most of them in engineering and R&D, and we're leveraging that footprint to actually start to deploy solutions for the market here, because we have the local context, we've got the local domain expertise, and then we also have the local engineering talent. So we're pulling those together. Even at this event, we've released a system that is made in India entirely by that engineering core for machine control, and or you guys would say AIMC. So, you know, we're slowly but surely figuring out ways in which we make the technology more accessible to this fragmented industry. It's very important to meet the industry where it is, as opposed to trying to offer something that's you know, maybe above and beyond the threshold of what they can adopt immediately. The need is acute. Obviously, there's high demand for infrastructure, roads, rail, airports. Obviously, there's a backlog in infrastructure demand in the country. So we know that the faster we can deploy the technology, the more impactful it will be. And so we're really trying to create localized solutions using our 40 plus years of industry domain, but also meet the local conditions. BIM, as it's practiced today, remains entirely in the world of the digital. And Trimble's core competency is actually taking that digital twin and the digital design into the real world, into the physical domain, getting the data about what is actually built against that design and bringing it back into the digital world. So we're uniquely positioned to be able to do that because our origins are actually in the field. We come with, you know, 40 plus years of domain in surveying, in geospatial technology, obviously machine control, and a host of other things that we then pair up with, you know, the need to move that physical condition back into the digital realm. We do that through cloud solutions, through software, as well as the sensors in the field. So from Trimble's perspective, digital twin is about pairing up the digital and the physical, not just creating something in the digital world that looks nice, but when it gets to the construction phase, starts to fall apart very quickly because those tools to actually transfer that digital content into the field are not there. So this is where we really are poised to have a good impact in the industry, especially here in India. AIMC is still very nascent in the market here, and there's a lot of concern, but I think a lot of that concern stems from the lack of exposure to the technology. So what we've done is, as I just discussed earlier, we've tried to make a more localized solution, but we've also introduced a business model that makes the adoption a lot less dear to the contractor. So we're introducing a subscription-based business model, which allows the contractor to spread the cost of technology adoption over the course of the project, as opposed to having to take out of their CapEx at the front end of the project and then depreciate. That's been a barrier of entry for the construction industry everywhere in the world, not just in India, for years. The technology penetration in construction is fairly low compared to other industries, say manufacturing. And one of the reasons is because it's such a capital-intensive industry. People are very sensitive about paying for something up front, and then, so what we're trying to do is we're saying, okay, no problem. Let me give you a business model that meets your cash flow and meets your financial constraints. And so that's what we're rolling out increasingly in the civil market, taking machine control from a big capital expense up front to a subscription in year 1, in year 2, in year 3. So stretching that benefit over the course of the project. Going back to the digital to physical, this is a key component of our offering into the market. We operate and move data between contractors, between all the stakeholders in the project through our cloud platform, which is Trimble Connect. And we are creating a platform that's enabling third-party software providers to transfer their digital content into the field through Connect, and then have that through our field solutions be understood in the field. If you have multiple contractors and fragmented contractors, They need only to have access to Trimble Connect, and they can pull and push that data back and forth into the project. So a general contractor can use that as the platform for all the digital information across the project to flow. So it's a very good solution if you're trying to ensure that you can move a bit of data from one contractor to another, or one general contractor to a subcontractor, and etc. So. I think right now what's driving technology adoption in general is there's such an urgency to construct faster but retain better quality that people can only start to adopt technology to actually speed things up. So when I look at it, machine control is a big piece of it, but the other piece of it, aside from machine control, is adopting a digital model for the project. In conventional construction in this country, as well as a lot of other countries, there's a lot of manual work that goes into actually deploying the design over a project, and we're eliminating that with a lot of the products and the productivity that we deliver through Trimble. So I think that's a big shift in the mindset of contractors, that they can work in the digital realm. They do not have to be paper-based. They do not have to be working in Excel or in some sort of more rudimentary communication of data to the field. That's a really good development for the market, I think. I think there's three components for the ROI. One is the digital footprint, the record of everything that's happening on the project, everything that's gone on the project, being visible to all the stakeholders through the cloud is a big additive benefit to everybody that's engaged in the project. So it's not just the user's ROI, it's the entire project's ROI. The other is the digitization of everything, right? So taking that digital twin back and forth from digital to physical, and then probably, even though it's impacted by a lot of things like quality and material savings, the speed at which the projects are able to be delivered is the big thing. Contractors want to be paid faster so they can move on to the next project, right? That's a big component of it. Yeah. The system that we just released is completely made here and fit for purpose for the Indian users. We've done extensive testing, and we've done many different pilot projects before releasing this system, which is focused on compaction. Okay, so the compaction of roads is a step that contractors dread because it's very fuel intensive, it's time consuming, and it's very difficult to measure an ROI out of compaction. But over time, 5-10 years later, when the road starts to fall apart, it's typically because the compaction was not done well. So adding technology into the compaction phase is really critical for the longevity of the asset, but it's also making the contractor do that phase faster, which they love. So this is a big thing that we say, okay, of all the things that could be very impactful in the short term, let's tackle compaction first. Beyond that, obviously, adoption of the cloud and I guess this digital model into the rest is a big one, yeah. We've got around 2,000 employees in the country, so we definitely have a very strong core of engineering, product support, etc. But the other thing we're looking at is partnering with OEMs in the market. Trimble, we have a long history of doing that. In fact, a lot of our R&D and our products that are created for machine control come out of a partnership we have with Caterpillar. That's been going for 20 plus years. It's a very strong partnership. But we also have the ability to approach local OEMs. So whether they're multinationals that manufacture in India, or maybe Indian OEMs that are native to the market, we can partner with them to deliver the technology at their point of sale. So if a customer comes into a local OEM's yard and says, I need a compaction machine, I also need this AIMC technology, they will be able to deliver the entire product set for them. So they'll be able to deliver the machine with the technology intact. So this is a capability that we have in our go-to-market model. We can work with our existing distributors that have a lot of domain expertise about that digital to physical workflow, but the OEMs also have the need to be able to deliver a full solution to their customers. We can do both. Right now we're at the very early stages. This is the hardest part. We're trying to get more adoption, and there's not familiarity or confidence in utilizing the technology. So this phase is really critical for our growth, and it's slow. So I think we're a company that likes to move fast. We're moving slow because we're doing all the right steps to get the level of adoption to where it needs to be. So that's the biggest headache / it's a labor of love for us to do this, but once we get past a certain level of adoption, it will really start to take off. So we're working towards that goal, right? And I think over probably the next year and a half, year or two, we're going to start to see that acceleration start. There are plenty of contractors and stakeholders in the industry that are learning about the requirements. For example, the mandates coming out of Ministry of Roads and NHAI. We are a leader in AIMC globally, and so we hope that, if you have questions about this or want to see the technology, you approach Trimble. Contact us. We're happy to share. We're working with all the stakeholders in the project, and this is a strength of our company, and we hope that we can talk to you.